Hey everyone, we're live. Amazing. So I just want to make sure the lighting is okay here. It looks to be all right on my end, and I want to make sure you can hear me okay because I don't have my microphone. This is something I just randomly decided to do. So welcome. Thanks so much for taking the time to subscribe. I really appreciate all the people who are hopping on here as I'm growing my channel. For people that aren't familiar with me, my name is Robin Horseman. My new business name is Horseman Readings. Sometimes people get confused when they see the name Horseman. But that's actually just my last name. So today we're hopping on and we're doing some tapping. And one of the things that I offer with tapping is it's the ability to kind of control your thoughts, control your emotions, etc. Because one thing that will happen to us is sometimes we'll have issues with our nervous system, and mentally we can say all of the things that we desire or all the things that we want to feel. However, tapping is a tool that we can use to actually start vibrating those things because, as you know, affirmations just aren't always enough, or prayer and positive thinking. We actually need to start feeling this way in our physical body. So tapping is an amazing tool that we can use. All right. So we call it emotional freedom technique. So again, any emotions that are coming up for you, typically what we do is we label them from 1 to 10 in terms of like, how intense is this energy for myself? Like, how bad is this? Without judgment, but just to pay attention. So as we shift through the energy, that will be supportive. So let me know if you guys are hopping on watching, and let me know specifically, even if you're watching on the replay, what is it that you're feeling emotionally that you're working on shifting through? That will be really helpful. So again, a little bit more about me. Currently, one of the things that I'm focusing on today is I have a reading shortly, but I'm also in between my readings, I'm doing some herbal blends. So I've been working on herbal tonics or tinctures. And I am working with tons of different types of herbs that can help you specifically with, again, emotions. So if that's something you're interested in checking out, you can go to horsemanreadings.com, check out my shop. And I'm going to just really slowly be adding a list of teas and things that I have there. But for the most part, what people are doing is they're just reaching out to me and letting me know what they need support with. And then I'm actually creating and customizing things for people, which is really cool. So I'm finding it a bit challenging to create my store because a lot of times I've got kind of like all my magic potions and I can do so many different things that I find it really fun to like just grab from what I have and tune into the person's energy. And that's kind of, if you've known me for a while, it's kind of what I've been doing with everything. So I really customize and focus on details specifically for you. So even coming on here live, I can feel into what it is people need. And also in my membership group, you pay a monthly fee and you get the Akashic Records program. I have 2 versions of those. And in there, you can also learn about tapping, among many other things. So if tapping is something that you want to learn, once you become a VIP member in my membership group on the 21st of every month, we learn new tools. So you can email me and say, I want to learn more about tapping, and I can keep showing you guys more ways to tap and more ways to support you. Okay. So I guess we'll get started. So as you can see, the snow is blowing behind us and it's really beautiful. One thing specifically I wanted to practice on myself so you guys could see how I do things for myself. Something that came up underneath TikTok when I was when I was on the receiving end with someone that was doing readings, that she brought up tapping for me. And I said, it's interesting because I teach tapping, but sometimes, you know, when we're teaching things, we do forget about the things that we need for us. So I said, I'm going to go on and do a live underneath YouTube for myself. However, I'm also going to be kind of tuning into things that you guys might have going on as well, so we can share the energy together. Okay. So first things first, I always label from 1 to 10 what the intensity is of what I'm feeling. So right away, I have like a little bit of pressure in the back of my head. Okay. So you might have been getting tension headaches, or maybe you're an overthinker, maybe you're inside too much. Right now, depending on where you live, you might be not getting enough vitamin D and again, fresh air. Okay. So a lot of times I'm feeling the same things as my client. So it's no surprise that I'm working with other people who are definitely not getting outside enough. So again, maybe I'm speaking to you. Okay. So between 1 and 10, some of the energy that I'm feeling, I would say just that feeling of like not getting outside enough. The way it makes me feel emotionally is just even like the fact that my nose is kind of like runny and stuff. I'm also currently feeling like I've been working through a lot of allergies too. So this is another great tool for allergies or whatever you have going on. And I'm the one that does the cleaning in my house. So it's interesting. I do suffer from a little bit of like dust, also like things, dander from outside coming inside off of the dog. Um, and so, like, if there is dog hair around, I tend to pick that up too. So I guess I have lots of stuff coming up. So if I could pick out what the most important thing is, it would be like a little bit of tension in my head. So again, I'm going to start with that, but you're probably going to see how it's all connected and how energy is going to move. Because like I feel like this, whatever's going on here with my nose and my head, will absolutely shift. Now I'm quite sensitive to energy. So I'm going to probably notice things because I'm quite comfortable with this a little more quickly than you might, but you could be sensitive too, and the energy might clear for you very quickly. But again, it might take a few times to practice this before it works for you. Okay. Just want to throw that out there. All right. I'm also have Reiki 1, level 1 coming up. So if you're a person who wants to be more sensitive or you are sensitive and you feel called to that, you can sign up for my Reiki 1 over Zoom. Okay. So as we breathe between 1 and 10, that's about like an 8, a 7 or an 8 for me. Okay. So feel free to share what you have going on in the comments. If you're watching, is there an emotion that you're looking to clear? And so 7 or an 8, that's like pretty high for me actually, but this has been an ongoing thing that actually started up last summer. Okay, so didn't know I'd be working on this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingers, 3 or 4 fingers here, okay, and I'm going to find that area, and I actually tap. Now, one of the things that the lady said that I was watching today is just that if sometimes people have had a lot of trauma, they might not actually feel comfortable tapping. So she was saying you can actually apply a little bit of pressure on the acupressure point as well. So whatever floats your boat here, okay? But I'm doing tapping, and we're just starting by just tapping a little bit, okay? This really wakes the body up. This starts to show the body how it wants to feel by just you addressing, even in the comments, what it is that you're looking to shift. By becoming even just aware of that, you're already going to notice the difference. So if you choose to tap just here the entire time, this will still be effective, okay? So to each their own. So we make 3 statements. Even though I've been feeling really restless, I fully and completely love myself. So you just fill in the blank for you, or you can follow along with mine because chances are it fits for you too. Even though, and so I like to take a deep breath after I make a statement. So adding a little bit of breath work in here too. And let it out. So take your time with this. Even though I feel underestimated sometimes, I fully and completely love myself. So really trust the words, trust the emotions. Often we pick one thing and it ends up being related to something completely different, and it's just showing up physically in a certain way, okay? To show our body that there's something going on. Even though I feel like I get the blues sometimes, I fully and completely love myself. Taking a deep breath. So 3 statements there. You can add another one if you want. I feel like I need to. Even though I feel like things are outrageous right now, I fully and completely love myself. That feels better. Okay, so I'm going to start tapping on the top of my head. And so this is actually where we start doing the releasing and the clearing, okay? So again, tap for as long as you need. before you shift over to another area, or you can even stay here. Things are out of control right now. Above the eyebrows. Things are just making me sweat. Lots of sweating. Deep breath. On the sides of the eyes. Overstimulation. Overstimulation. And taking a deep breath. Really let it go through your breath. Overstimulation. This is what we're releasing. Underneath the eyes, this feels really good for me. Letting go of old ruts. Releasing times in my life where things were out of control. Out of control. And underneath the nose. I feel like closing my eyes, it feels more relaxing for me. Letting go of abuse. Abuse. Overstimulation. Underneath the lips. Out of control. Really breathing in through the nose. You can even add some nostril breathing. We learned this in yoga as well. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I like adding different things that I have a background in into my practices. That's a big theme for me. I did a live yesterday as well, talking about some of those things and how when I started with Reiki and then I like started adding other things, and now I feel like I've mastered my Reiki and it's time for me to move on. And I just have new things I want to learn and teach and grow from. So letting go of abuse. Dropping the shoulders. So again, nostril breathing is when we breathe in one nostril, breathe out the other. Breathing in that nostril, out the other. You can continue that cycle for as many times as you need, becoming more mindful of the shoulders here as we breathe. Maybe lining up the chakras, bringing in balance in the chakras as you breathe. This could be a grounding exercise for you as well. Trying all the energy up from the earth. Connecting into the energy of my plant today. I also have this buddy here. Breathing, reminding yourself that all is well here as you release, keeping yourself grounded as you let go. Tapping here on the chest. This is always my favorite if you have anything going on in the chest. So if you're a very heartfelt, sensitive person, this might feel really nice. You can go as light, as gentle as you need to. For me, this just feels nice as like a gentle tap to wake up the body where I am feeling quite sensitive at this time with this full moon coming in. If you're a membership in my VIP, then I sent out an email today letting you know. So if you want to join my email list, you can click the link below as well to join. But I let you guys know that on the 6th, in 3 days, I'll be sending out our Theta Healing downloads and our ritual for the full moon. I still haven't done my reading for that, so you can also stay tuned for when I do that reading as well. I might pull up some cards for you guys too. Okay, so releasing old patterns. Releasing times where I felt overly challenged, overly protective. Overly protective. Letting that go. Making some sounds here. Feels good to make sound. Sound is a great way to release. And then wherever your bra strap is, maybe you have a bra strap, maybe you don't, but that area, letting go of times in my life where I felt overly stressed. Opening up the chest here a bit more as we drop the shoulders. Times in my life where I couldn't let go. This is strange, but I want to come back to the chest. Releasing old times. If you feel a little emotional, that's okay. That's actually you moving energy. Okay, and then coming back to the wrist. Okay. Letting go of old patterns. Letting go of old trauma. Letting go of challenging times. This is definitely going to relate to you. So I do things a little bit differently, literally every session that I have, just so you know. Okay, so if it's like, you're not doing this right, well, I'm not. There is no right. Okay, that's part of my lesson, I feel like, as well, of my on my path, is that nothing is really right. Therefore, nothing is really wrong. Right? So you might feel some type of buzzing. You might feel energy moving. You might feel nothing. Okay. I feel a lot of like chills outside of my body vibrating out. Okay. I also feel like a little bit of anxiety around here. I just feel like the energy is kind of not quite finished with. Okay. But my energy I was feeling in the back of my head. I feel a lot of stimulation and buzzing on the top of my head, which makes me feel like that part is moved. The nose feels a little bit better. It feels like that's moved up here. And there's just a lot going on now in my chest. So in some ways, I feel like a lot of energy has moved up, but then I also feel like there's energy that's still caught up in here, probably because of what I was bringing up to the surface. So from a 1 to 10, in terms of like what I was feeling, I feel like a 10. However, I feel like new things have arisen. Okay. So right now I feel like a heaviness in my chest. Okay. So if I could label that from a 1 to 10, it feels like in terms of like how intense it is, it feels like an 8 to me. Okay. So a little worse than the other thing. This is like brought up new energy for me. So I'm going to start again. I'm doing this a little differently than I typically would. Okay. But I'm actually now going to remove that energy because I want to get rid of all the baggage here and then bring in the good. Okay. Because I want to leave us feeling good. Even though I'm finding it hard to breathe right now, I fully and completely love myself. Even though I feel like there are things in my life that are out of my control, I fully and completely love myself. Even though I feel like there are characters around me that are a little sketchy, I fully and completely love myself. Keep in mind, this is related to the past, okay? Letting go of times in my life where I felt challenged. Letting go of the need to be present. Letting go of needing to do things right. That needs a bit more. Letting go of times in my life where I felt challenged. Underneath here. Letting go of times in my life where I felt overly stimulated. Lack of control. Overwhelm. Challenged. Under the nose. Times in my life are changing. Letting go of the change. Letting go of the control. Letting go of times in my life where I felt overly stimulated. Destructive patterns. Times in my life that were overwhelming. Caught up in the drama. Drama. So again, do what feels right for you. Letting go of times in my life that were overly stimulating. Crossing over on the wrist. Breathing out negativity. Releasing old patterns of behaviors. Okay. So now what we have here is obviously there was this like need to control. Okay. My shoulders feel amazing. I really needed that. So now I'm feeling like that's more at like an 11. So that feels really good. However, I do feel like a little something in my throat chakra. Throat chakra stuff is something that comes up for me all the time, where I am going into teaching a Reiki level 1, and I also have a client soon. I'm definitely feeling a lot of their energy. So what I would say is like one extra thing I would like to clear is this deep need to support others, because I feel like it's like this thing that I do where I want to like jump in and help, where sometimes what I really need to do is actually step back and allow them to do their work, right? So let's clear that. Even though I feel this need to deeply support others, I fully and completely love myself. Even though I feel like I'm over challenged sometimes, I fully and completely love myself. Even though I have this need to get everything done all at once, I fully and completely love myself. Even though I listen too much, I fully and completely love myself. Overwhelm, overstimulation, letting go of challenging times, the need to control, the need to support, letting go of old times, pushing myself too thin, releasing times of trauma, 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 the need to control, creating win-lose situations. Okay. Who knew this was going to be so much work? So I do feel like energy shifted only it went into my back, but my shoulders feel incredible, and I've been feeling this energy in my shoulders since like October. Okay. So pretty deep stuff for me, as you can tell, and I'm sure this is going to be helpful for you. I'd love to hear if it is. I also feel like there's something going on in with my business as well that's coming up here. I've been really shifting since I had someone hack my social media. It's forced me to shift into new things. And sometimes as we're going through change, it can absolutely be overwhelming when things are out of our control. So it's interesting. I always find when it's time to like move forward or end something, I always go back to full circle. So I came in here kind of being like, oh, my name's Horseman Readings. I have a new name, la 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 la. And now I'm coming back to kind of that about my name shifting, my new start with my business. So what I'm going to do here is instead of that's my sign or my symbol for like time to shift over, like you've completed that chapter. So I'm going into like new beginnings, new starts, what I want to start vibrating. So for all the healing tools that I teach, I always work on clearing of the negative and replacing it with positive. So Reiki healing, same thing. I'm actually getting for us to call in some Reiki energy, so I'm going to do that for our group. So all you have to do is energetically say yes to receiving that. You can also write it in the comments. By verbalizing, it's going to come in even stronger. Okay, so now that we've called some Reiki energy, and I feel like this will be really helpful for moving the energy as well into the positive. So my throat still has some stuff going on, but I actually feel like by bringing in the positive vibrations, it's going to move the energy. Okay. So a lot of, getting a lot of vibration in the back of my head. So I'm kind of like getting the permission. There's a go ahead to begin. Okay. So starting with positive energy here, top of my head, my healing journey is absolutely beautiful. I'm so looking forward to this new chapter up here. Breathing in, breathing in to receive. And I know all kinds of acupressure points because I also do facial reflexology. So I'm kind of like also throwing that in for myself. As I said, I kind of like, I'm feeling called to that, especially where we're working on trauma. Makes sense, right? Trauma can be like deep rooted, ancestral. That's where I feel like mine's related to, especially where I'm working on herbal medicines. That feels ancestral to me. So I feel like there's been some deep rooted fear around that. So inviting in the good energy here. So applying pressure, allowing good energy to start flowing through me. allowing positive energy to start flowing in me, especially where we were talking about all those things at the beginning. Focusing on love and unconditional support. Feeling safe. Feeling safe to receive. Letting go is easy for me. Opening up to love and support. Opening up to love and unconditional support. Love is always in my heart space. Opening up to love and support. Connecting to love and support. That feels really, really good. So from 1 to 10, here I'm feeling like a 12, actually. So what's interesting is like sometimes we need to do those rounds for the negative, and then we can just let the positive come in. If you want to do a few more rounds of that on your own, absolutely do that. I feel fully complete. It took me 26 minutes to get there. Typically my Zoom sessions are 35. Hello, sending me a heart. Amazing. I didn't even see you watching, so I hope you found this helpful. My sessions are typically 35 minutes, so that gives us a chance to kind of reflect back on ways to transition and move forward, and maybe even some homework for you that you could do over your week. I love you all. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you later.